I find that when students get to sonatina level, which is about book 2 or book 3, Suzuki, or some of the piano lit books in Faber, particularly level 2 or 3 of Faber, that they now need to be taught some specialized practicing techniques. And over the next few weeks, I'll be going through some of these specialized techniques that I've come across. I'm going to try to demonstrate them with well-known repertoire that is taught to just about every student. I think that's probably a better example than picking something very difficult and advanced. Of course, as we get into advanced music, we get even more advanced with these techniques. So here are a couple common repertoire things that I use. The first one is from Écossaise by Hummel. This is the first piece actually in book 2 Suzuki, but you meet it in regular repertoire as well. So it has a second half that goes right, so there's a second half. And the kids have a dickens of the time playing that left hand because the pinky or the bottom 2 note needs to be voiced and the upper part needs to be quieter. So if I play just left hand alone, so I'm sure you can hear that I'm bringing out the bass. So how I would apply ghosting to this, I would have them play the bottom 2 notes and ghost the upper part of the pattern. And then eventually, so that's what I would do in Écossaise. So now a couple other examples. One is Arietta, a little further along in book 2. This time we're trying to quiet the thumb. And as we know, the thumb is particularly hard to keep quiet sometimes, especially when it's playing filler material, like in a waltz type of thing, like in this little Arietta. So. Oftentimes when students start playing this piece, we get a lot of thumb, right? So this is one of those pieces where we can really practice that ghosting technique. Useful, very useful. And of course, all of this has to do with voicing something like 2 different things in the same hand. Now, balance is an entirely different, balance between the hands is an entirely different topic. Now, in this case, we're actually trying to bring the thumb out, which is like backwards from the other one. So in this one, we're trying to bring out this lovely melody of the thumb. Right? And oftentimes we get this little motion has to do with a circle of the arm too. So if you really want to focus on two things at the same time, especially with a more advanced student, you can do this. You can work on that circle, but they're miming it in slow motion. And then slowly they might go a little faster with their miming. And you might have them thinking about a shaping of the thumb. Right? So notice I was doing that without pedal. This song is definitely a pedal song. But you don't want to muddy the waters with anything. I want them to really listen to the parts and not have anything hanging over with the pedal. That just kind of defeats the purpose. And then eventually they're ready to they've really learned how to control the sound of that thumb too. So it's killing multiple birds with one stone there. And then the last example I'll give is like when you have something between the hands where you have like a lower part and an upper part that need to come out, but the inner part needs to stay quiet. And for this I've pulled out About Foreign Lands and People, which is another favorite song and traditional repertoire as well as Suzuki. So here we go. So here we've got two parts. That's what it should sound like. But what we normally get first is this. Exaggerating it. Some kids will play the right hand thumb louder or the left hand thumb louder, but either way, both are incorrect. So what we tend to do at first is practice this. Okay, it is hard. It's hard. If they can control that, they can do anything. Again, I was practicing without the pedal. Now on this one, it makes it very difficult to continue the line of the melody without the pedal. So the next step would be to add a little pedal and still do the ghosting. Determine what notes in the right hand are actually melody. Because a lot of kids think the melody goes like this. That it has a pickup, but it doesn't. It actually is this. No pickup to that melody. Yeah? And then, of course, adding both hands back in, but keeping those thumbs very, very quiet. And slow motion practice helps with this one as well. So those are just some examples of early intermediate to an intermediate repertoire that you would meet this, and that's when students really need to learn how to do these types of techniques.